Every year when the Oscars come out, there are some Oscar snubs, and one of the big ones in 2026 was For No Other Choice not being nominated in Best International Feature. So, was that the correct decision or not? Now, firstly, I have to be honest, I've not watched any of these Best International Feature nominations as of yet. I will definitely be checking out Sentimental Value and The Secret Agent, and I'll hopefully try and watch the other three as well. But after watching No Other Choice, I thought to myself, surely this is going to be nominated in this category, but that was not to be. And it's a shame because it is a quality film. There are some issues with it, which I'll get onto in a minute. But it's a shame as well for Park Chan-wook, who was the director, because his film before this, Decision to Leave from 2022, also got snubbed as well. Other films he's directed include Oldboy and The Handmaiden. And some are saying, but maybe there's an issue with the Academy and Park Chan-wook. I don't know. You can speculate about that. But the film itself, let's get on to whether, was it good enough to be in this category? As I haven't been able to watch the films, I can't compare them. But what were the reasons for No Other Choice to possibly be excluded? Let's have a look at this film in a bit more detail. Now, many of you recognize the main actor in this film, Lee Byung-hun, from Squid Game as the frontman, and here he is great. He reminds me a little bit of Mads Mikkelsen in the way he goes about his acting, and I mean, even the look of him a bit as well. He has that sort of stern face, and that face which can really say a lot, which does him very well here in this sort of movie, which involves a man who gets let go from a company after 25 years, a paper company, so he has to find another job. At this moment in time, he's looking at having to move from his house, and the dogs have to be taken away, so he can't afford to pay for pets. So everything's going downhill for him and his family, his wife and his two kids. And so he's now looking for another job. There is another job that comes available, but there are a few people also going for it. So he has no other choice, as the title says, to take out the opposition by any means necessary, and in this case, by murdering them. So it is one of those films where it's got a dark edge to it, but it does it in a comedic manner. And even from this picture here of him holding his plant pot above his head, you can see from his face that he's really questioning whether he should do what he's about to do and can he actually do it. And there's many instances in the movie where he's planning it all out very well. He's like, okay, I know what to do. I know how to take this guy out. But actually going through with the action of doing that is another matter. And it makes for some comedic moments when he's really struggling to actually kill these people. There's three guys he's going after. The first one, more of the movie takes up around the first one, then the next two, not as much time. But each one has its own qualities. How he goes about trying to get close to these people before he eventually tries to get rid of them. And the movie has a message to it, definitely, but it's not really until the end of the film where it really comes fully clear what the film wants to say. And I do like a movie like that, where the last scene was very powerful. One where you sat there thinking, okay, I was thinking that, but now the film sort of just, it's gone through the whole movie, and now it's said what it wants to say. And I think that's perfect. Lots of films, especially Hollywood films, do too much. They try and spell out the message too much within the movie, and don't let you try and work it out yourself. And then it's like, then it becomes more message from story. Here it's like, we've got the story, we have a message which is the undertone of the film, but then at the end of the movie it all becomes much more clear. And it's one of those where I think it does struggle at times to get from each man. Like, I think that there are some times where it does feel like it drags a bit because you're not fully invested in his story, but you are, but you're not always right next to him, if you understand what I mean. Like, so at those points you can feel the runtime a bit, but it always keeps you hanging. It always keeps you just enough there, so you're not going to feel like you want to switch it off, but you can feel like you are sort of moving around in terms of distance of this movie and how much it keeps you drawn into the story. So while Yu Man-soo is out plotting the deaths of these three men, the family are also reacting to the fact that they are in a troubled financial situation. So his wife, played by Son Ye-jin, she becomes a dental hygienist. His son also gets involved in some criminal activity, so he's having to deal with his family while he's also trying to balance this other life he has where he's taking out the competition. And so seeing him navigate these two different worlds was a joy to watch. And after he loses his job, he feels so emasculated, so he has to tackle that as well. So there's a lot going on here for this character, and in this film as a whole, it's very much a black comedy. And for me going in, I didn't even really know what this film was all about at all. So it was a real surprise. And with that in mind, I think this is a movie where it might not get all the love straight away as it's released in cinemas, but later down the line, on streaming and on TV, I think this will be a film where people will discover it and think, wow, that was a pretty good watch. I don't think it's the best, even Korean film I've seen. I think Parasite is probably still number one there. I need to watch some more, to be honest. There's a lot I need to get watching this year, hopefully, on my watch list. But it's one of those movies compared to all the other films we get from Hollywood where it's much better than many of those. And so, it not being nominated at the Oscars this year is a shame. So, I am disappointed.
I confess myself disappointed.
So, overall, no other choice. It's a film that looks great. It has a lot to say. But I do think it does struggle at times to keep you on board with what it wants to say, because there is so much. So you can sort of lose a bit of interest here and there, especially between each different person he goes after. But there is enough here where it's a package of a film where I think it'll be worth your time to watch at some point. And in terms of the Oscars, unfortunately it misses out on that, but hopefully it gets enough praise and word of mouth where people will check it out at some point. And that really is the point of this review. It's not a very long review, but it's one where I want to get it out here into the world just to give it a bit more exposure. So hopefully that has done that. And if you have seen No Other Choice, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below.